Okay. Hello. What time is it, huh? 3:30 a.m. I guess I'm gonna do this review while I still got my energy in me, and I still got a lot of it in me right now, despite tonight's very, very long night of wrestling. Number one, I was at All Out tonight. I was there at the Sears Center Arena. Hey, I went to All In last year. I decided to go All Out this year. So I wanted to do both back to back, and I will say my travel schedule was a little bit more better this time, and I think I kind of knew what I was doing. And other than last year, I was a little bit more prepared for these things instead of getting to the arena. I did miss the side party and everything, but by the time I got there at about 5 o'clock, that's when the doors were about to open, and they got in a cab with several other people because I told them that there was no bus coming. So I only had to pay like $10 after 2 train rides and that. There's a lot to talk about. I had some very, very good seats. Maybe I'll try to load something on YouTube if I can, footage, because I took a lot on Snapchat and stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to get away with it on YouTube and everything. But there's a lot to talk about tonight. There's some cool things I did see, in the arena and around it and stuff. There was a lot going on that I'm sure some people didn't know, but I guess sometimes I went to go use the bathroom. There was some interesting things going on. Not all good, but I saw some interesting things that happened. But I did get to the arena about 5 o'clock when the doors open. I kind of ate beforehand because you don't want to buy food out there because it's gonna cost you almost an arm and a leg. Come on, it's like $6 for a hot dog. But being there for All Out, fans were out there waiting in line. Some cool people out there, I will say that. I thought it was going to be a solo job for me at first, but I'm going to get into that part later. But we did kick this show off tonight. Where do we kick it off? With the Casino Battle Royale, but this time with the women. I don't know everyone in this match. Like I said, they did have commentary though, because when I excuse me. Yeah, I know. Golden Boy and Excalibur were on commentary. I do know that. Like I said, I'll probably go look at some highlights just to hear a little of the commentary team. Since, like I said, I'm there live, so I'm not going to hear any commentary. But I know they were on commentary. Hey, it's better than Marvis guy that was on there. But the Casino Battle Royale for the women, this was to determine who was going to be in one of the first spot for the women's title, was Fabi Apache. If you know her from AAA, Leva Bates, The Librarian, Nyla Rose, Priscilla Kelly, which I don't even understand why they put this girl on the show, because she's the one with that disgusting tampon spot, right? And I thought that was horrible, and honestly, she kind of deserved to get buried by several people in the business, like, Cornette. So, yeah, she's the girl that did that nasty looking tampon spot, which was not over in general in my opinion, but somehow she was in this battle royale that she signed to the company, but she was in this battle royale. And Shalonda, I believe, pretty much all the women had tried to jump up, Nyla Rose, she was pretty much able to push them off. Who was the first one eliminated? So I think it was Shalonda, I believe. Shalonda Royale was out. Who else went? I think they threw out Priscilla Kelly then next. Nyla Rose. Leva Bates tried to get her with a book, but Nyla Rose had sold it. She pretty much threw Bates out the ring then. Apache was gone. I think Apache was gone. Peter Avalon tried to get in the ring, which looked like he didn't even... It's like she sidestepped it, but it's almost like he threw himself out of the ring. Especially if you see it live, the guy just kind of like he just ran over the top ropes. Didn't even look like, she sidestepped. She just slightly moved out of the way. But the next 5 women that were coming out there were Penelope Ford, Shasha McKenzie, Sadie Gibbs. Big Swole, I believe, is a local around. I don't know much about it. I did see on an Impact show, but the people did know who Big Swole was in the crowd and chanted with her. And Dr. Britt Baker. Baker pretty much took out she took out McKenzie. Swole and Nyla Rose had a showdown, but Nyla Rose pretty much hit her like a Uranagi and then threw Swole to the ground then because people actually would pick Swole. Rose hit a German suplex on Penelope Ford and pretty much threw her out. Penelope Ford was killing out there, by the way, too. Another one. Who is next in this fight? Like I said, I'm trying to go through everything of who I saw get eliminated because some of these women did get a big pop out there. But who else was it? Tennille Dasher, who just debuted on Impact Wrestling last night. I will be back with a review of that later on. But she was in the Battle Royale. Ivelisse, B. Priestley, Brandy Rhodes, and Awesome Kong were the next entrants. The women that tried to jump Kong. Kong was throwing a lot of them out of there, I remember. At one point, the women were jumping Kong again. When Brie Priestley came out there, Britt Baker immediately got out of the ring and started going in on Brie Priestley after what happened at the Fight for the Fallen show. That I believe it was a concussion or injury, I believe that happened. But she charged into her while she was coming down the ramp. Brandy, I don't know how they had Brandy in this match, but I remember hitting a stunner on somebody. She just stunned her on Nyla Rose, I believe, which is something the crowd had popped for. Kong definitely threw out Ivelisse in. She threw out some other people to get to Nyla Rose because that was about to be a showdown. Because then next was Allie. I didn't know who some of these women were. I had to go look them up. I knew some of them were, but I didn't know everybody. Nicole Savoy, Teal Piper, ODB was fun to see again, and Jazz. Allie started pretty much going in at Brandy. After her to get out of the ring. ODB had the flask, which was pretty cool. Piper pretty much Teal Piper pretty much poked her eye, kind of went for a sleeper hold on her. Kong and pretty much threw Piper off and over the top rope. I remember the Rose eliminated someone, but I don't remember who it was. A lot of skinning the cats in this match too. At one point, it was a big showdown between Kong, ODB, Jazz, and Nyla Rose, which actually looked pretty cool. I thought it was for a second. Fans had chanted ODB in. Everybody kind of went after Kong and took her out. Nyla Rose then threw out Jazz. The last one was the Joker card. This Casino Battle Royale still kind of doesn't make sense to me. Was a little bit better than the men's one in something in a way, but when you got 5 people coming out at the same time and each I don't know how many time limits it was, but it was kind of hard to keep up with everyone what they were doing. I just know the final one was Mercedes Martinez, who got a good pop out there. I remember Allie throwing out Brandy, I believe, as soon as she came out at the time. Who was it? Sadie Gibbs? She did like a springboard on Nyla Rose, which was pretty. Sadie Gibbs doing a lot of good shit out there. A lot of fucking back handstands, which is crazy. I think Martinez. I forget who she had eliminated back because when it kind of came down to the final 4, it was B. Priestley, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Mercedes Martinez. But Martinez got eliminated. There was a lot of it between Priestley and Baker. Baker did a Canadian Destroyer on Priestley. I remember that. Baker pretty much got Rose. They had her on the ground, but Nyla Rose was skinned the cat. She had got back in. Baker was about to eliminate Priestley then, but Priestley pretty much grabbed Britt Baker's arm, and Nyla Rose won the match, pretty much now becoming the number 1 contender, which she will face whoever was going to be the winner of tonight's match with Rio and Hikaru Shida. And they will fight on the debut of AEW on TNT. So that was going to happen. The match itself, I will say this for one thing. Number 1, they actually made Nyla Rose like a monster this time. They actually kind of made her almost like a badass also. Because she did like a killer out there and was there from the beginning and made all to the end. Now made it be known that Brie Priestley pretty much helped her by pulling Britt Baker's arm down to distract her so Nyla Rose could do it, get her out of the ring. So that's still built. Well, we know there's a feud with those two going on, but pretty much Nyla Rose kind of had help at the end. But at least they did make her look like a monster, because before I've had my criticisms of it because it's like, okay, this girl used to be killing everybody, like not losing matches to the smaller ones, because I just didn't think she was really that kind of good to begin with. And I'm not gonna go into the whole what I should be saying. It was a guy, then girl, then whatever. I'm not gonna get into that whole thing. But even some people almost thought she was hired just to pander. I know somebody said it to the transsexual crowd or something like that, but it looks like they're actually pushing her this time. So at least they got her going for the title, and they actually made her look like a monster. Because I kind of questioned, like, this girl used to be booked like a monster, not taking roll-up pins from people. So a lot of people thought it was gonna be pandering at first, but maybe it's different this time. But yeah, Nyla Rose is going into AEW. TNT for the title. I don't know if all these women are signed that came out tonight, to be honest. I know Tennille's part of Impact, but I don't know who else is still on the women's division that's signed from the ones I seen tonight. So we'll see if anything comes up from that. Next was Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn versus Angelico and Jack Evans. I like this match, and I am liking more and more Private Party. This was a very good match, even for a freaking pre-show. This was a pre-show, and people were glued to this match like it was part of the main show, to be honest. And I liked it. Okay, this was crazy. I did like the beginning where pretty much these guys dodging each other's moves, but at one point I don't know if it was Cassidy, he was on the glasses that was pretty much doing some flips, but pretty much Quinn. Yeah, I think it was Quinn. His glasses came off, and Jack Evans kicked him to the side, and fans got mad at it. So it was a lot of good stuff in this match. Freaking crazy shooting star press from Quinn on Evans there was pretty good. Evans kind of coming back. He had to hit had a big splash on Cassidy then. When he kind of got near the end, both teams were on the top rope. This is one thing I did like. Quinn did like a reverse Rana on Jack Evans, I believe, to take him down. Then he did one on another one did on Angelico, I believe. No, I'm trying to remember how it went, because it was like two reverse Ranas that looked cool as hell. All right, it really did. I think Quinn did like a reverse Rana on Angelico. And Cassidy did one also, but when Angelico was back on the ropes, as they did on Jack Evans about 2 times, pretty much they did the Hurricane Rana on Angelico, which he pretty much flew into a big cutter from Cassidy. I believe that finisher was called the Gin and Juice, I believe. Some people were saying on tonight. So this was a very good match. People were with Private Party pretty much after they all shook hands, but Angelico and Evans pretty much jumped Private Party after that, and the fans chanted "Party Poopers" after the match. So I thought that was pretty funny, Party Poopers. But I enjoyed it. It was a very good tag match, especially for the pre-show. So I'm liking more and more of Private Party. All right, I'm starting to see why these guys are really that good. I didn't really watch them that much. I don't really know about them that much, but to give them what I've seen and after what I saw tonight live, all right, I'm digging what I see. I'm digging what I'm seeing. I'm sure it'll be another match with both these teams, though, since Angelico and Jack Evans pretty much jumped them and everything. So I'm sure we'll see a match from that. But we were about to start the main pay-per-view. I remember, yes, Jim Ross did come out. Big pop for him when he got to the announce table. What else did they have? Some other vignettes and everything. They're showing crowds and fans in the crowd. They interviewed MJF at one point, but we did get to the main show. The first official match of All Out was SCU versus Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt, or I guess Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. All three of them called the Lucha Express, or I'm sorry, the Jurassic Express, if I'm not mistaken. I will say one thing. First off, SCU did the worst town they've ever been in thing. Talk about a year ago, say we couldn't get a full house, but now, new year, new dealer, new deck, and telling the fans that we're all out pretty much. And there was a big SCU chant then. Jurassic Express came out. One thing I did like, of course, Luchasaurus carrying Jungle Boy on his shoulders, which is always fun to see. I like how he kind of pulled him back as I shouldn't mention the stage too. I guess they're keeping that double tunnel ramp thing, because a lot of people said TNA did this back then. So they did that at a Double or Nothing. I remember also the tunnel ramp was like on both sides, and one person comes on one side and the other comes from the other. So they did have that going on, which was I did like how they were doing the entrance and everything. Marco Stunt, I don't know, man. I cannot take Marco Stunt seriously. Okay, I'm sorry. I just can't. I get it. He's like a human projectile, and I remember somebody trying to explain to me he's like Spike Dudley. You just throw him anywhere, which is pretty true. But this guy is like what? I saw that weigh-in thing. He's 102 pounds. Because some of the stuff I just can't take seriously when he's doing it in the ring. I'm taking someone down. He weighs that much. Like, I thought the dude was short on TV. This motherfucker looks shorter in person, okay? He looked way shorter in person than I imagined, alright? Like, Marco Stunt is, like, really that freaking short. But some people really want to compare him like he is Rey Mysterio now for some odd, like, reason, which makes no sense. But, the guy's just, like, super short, though. The match itself, I did enjoy. A lot of Fallen Angel chants at first. Luchasaurus is good. I will say that. Saurus is real good. Because one thing I did like, Stunt did a suicide dive. Crap. Stunt did a suicide dive out there. And then Jungle Boy came up with a dive. And then Luchasaurus hit a big dive, which the crowd had popped for then. Because Luchasaurus was kind of flying out there. SCU got the upper hand again. They were taking down Jungle Boy. Pretty much then Marco Stunt doing that backpack dance they do on that Fortnite game, because he did it earlier. Luchasaurus pretty much came in, pretty much going on crazy on everybody, and taking down Daniel Scorpio Sky. Hitting Kazarian with a choke slam, then doing a standing moonsault for the pin. Luchasaurus was over. Luchasaurus was super over. And I'm going to get into more of these tag teams later in the show, because this tag division, I tell you. But, big, choke slam after that. SCU came back. Pretty much hit some Hurricane Ranas. What was it? They hit Hurricane Ranas pretty much out on was on Stunt and Saurus then. Kazarian was still in there, pretty much throwing Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy back in. Pretty much set them up in the fade to black move, both of them at the same time. Daniels pretty much came from up top with a big BME on both guys to the ground. Pinning, was Jungle Boy pinned or Stunt? I think Marco Stunt was pinned here. Yeah, Stunt was pinned, like a double best moonsault ever for the win. So, SCU getting the win. So, I think SCU need the win, just because I've kind of seen them on a few of these AEW shows and they haven't really gotten a win. So, SCU winning, I got no problem with that. The match was enjoyable. I thought it was fun. It was a good opener. I will say that. So, it was pretty cool. Luchasaurus is super over. SCU is over. Both Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy as a team are over. I guess Stunt's part of it also. But I'm sorry. I just can't take Stunt that seriously. I guess it's not supposed to be, but it's like, this is the guy people need to be looking out for. You sure about that? I just kind of overthink that. But yeah, this was a fun tag match to kick off the show. Now, the match I did not expect next, though, which I thought this was probably going to be later in the night or the co-main event, but they wanted to do this now. Kenny Omega versus Pac. As you know, this match was changed at the last minute due to Jon Moxley being injured, so Pac was pulled in as a last-minute replacement. This, in my opinion, this was the best match out of the entire night. I'll say that right now. Kenny versus Pac was great. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Because these guys just went crazy. Funny, the crowd tried to chant 205 at Pac at one point. Pretty much both guys went into each other. They were trying to do some flips outside, but pretty much they kept dodging each other's moves, getting back inside the ring. Pretty much as the match went on, Omega at one point hit a drop kick on him into a brain buster. Then it was 2. Pac came back then, and Omega with a moonsault, which was pretty cool. Then Pac went for another moonsault of his own. I think I said that wrong after Omega missed the first one, but Omega caught him. Pac hit him with a DDT, which was pretty good. What else they were going for in here, which it's pretty good. Pac he hit a moonsault pretty much to the floor, which this is where I feel like it got dangerous at one point. Especially when because when he did that moonsault to the floor, I thought the barricade was a little bit closer to the ring, that he hit his legs are hard. Same with Kenny too, when he does this big Terminator dive out there. Like he landed more on the barricade than ever. Pac hit a 450, then pretty much Omega kicked out. Both guys started punching each other back and forth. Omega hit a buckle bomb and then a big spine buster with a big 2 count. Omega then came back and pretty much started hitting with a V-trigger. He was trying to set up for the one-wing angel, but pretty much it got a little bit botchy here. I felt like both guys were trying to hit like reverse Hurricane Ranas or something, but it just looked kind of really bad that they just botched. It looked really botched, okay? You have to see it yourself, but it's like they were really trying to connect the move, countering each other, but it just didn't work. It really didn't. Well, still a few, so. But, Pac came back pretty much in a suplex on, Omega then for a 2 count. Omega came back with his snap dragon suplex. Hits him with a big V-trigger for the 2 count. Goes for another V-trigger, but Pac catches it, going for some kicks. Pac tried to get, I think that's where that reverse Hurricane Rana came in, where both guys just pretty much couldn't connect that move, and it looked really bad. Omega once again went for another V-trigger on Pac that looked deadly as ever. It looks even more deadly when you see it live. It really does. I'm not sure what's worse, when you see it live or when you see it on TV. It just looks deadly. But Omega pretty much picked up Pac trying to go for the one-wing angel. Pac was able to counter it then, put him into the I don't know, they still call it the Rings of Saturn and that, but pretty much I guess Omega, he choked Omega out. He didn't make him tap out, because I thought Omega was about to break out of it, but he had him so locked into that move. Pac won the match. So it was a very shocking outcome, because I think a lot of people really in that crowd thought Kenny was going to win that match. Even myself, I did, but I figured Pac was gonna win because because of having that Double or Nothing show. He backed out the last second because whatever creative differences, which I'd still kind of believe, like some others, that he just didn't want to put Hangman over because I guess he was loyal to Dragon Gate. I don't know if he still is loyal to Dragon Gate and bring the belt out there with him, but that was always kind of the story I've heard about. He was not, gonna put over one of the elite guys, and I guess now I don't think he is I don't know if he is still working with Dragon Gate, but I guess he'll put Kenny over. Well, it's Kenny at least, because like the guy's one of the best in the world. I'm not knocking Hangman also, but I got Pac looked at himself as he's a bigger star, that he didn't even need to job out to Hangman Page. But I somewhat kind of figured that's why Pac won. But this is now where it was hard to follow this show. Okay, because after this, I thought this was the best match of the night. This is where things started to get iffy in the crowd, and you can see how the crowd shows. So trust me, I was there. There was a lot of people going to bathroom breaks in the next few matches. Because we had this Cracker Barrel match with Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, and Darby Allin. When that match began, I went to the bathroom. Okay, I did. And there were a lot of people going to the bathroom. Now, Darby Allin, I do like. His gimmick intrigues me. I will say that. I like Darby Allin. I'm kind of getting into it. Jimmy Havoc, I've said before, the guy looks like he just stepped out of a meth lab. But, I don't know, man. I've seen the guy do his deathmatch stuff before. So it's like I didn't really care. Janela, I'm starting more and more not to give a fuck about this guy more often. It's I kind of like the guy at first, but kind of like due to the recent stuff I've kind of seen out of Janela, I'm starting to take a disinterest in him, and I'm just kind of going like kind of just fuck off in a way too. I don't know, because like I'm kind of used to seeing Janela in these hardcore matches, and somebody said that's kind of the only style he really works, because come on, that Cracker Barrel thing, he did that last year when the Cracker Barrel was involved with the Hangman match in that street fight last year. And if you look at all the subsequent hardcore match, like the one with Moxley back at Double or Nothing, so I don't know, man. Like I was kind of but it's like now I've just seen the guy do some stupid stuff. To be honest, though, I really have. Like I said, the hardcore matches somewhat oversaturated. What else? The Enzo situation. What, this guy almost got beat up by Enzo, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I checked, I saw the video, and even I can understand a little bit more why Jim Cornette buries this guy, and it's gonna show tonight also, because I'm sure Cornette's gonna have to say something about this in his review or anything. But I don't know, man. The Janela thing, it's kind of nah. Because I was gone in the bathroom for at least 6 minutes of this match. Okay? Or at least 5, 6, 7 minutes of this match. Because I just wasn't really going into this whole Cracker Barrel street fight, whatever this three-way was supposed to be. Because, like I said, I like one of the guys, but the other two are just like, I just could not kind of give a shit in a way. To be honest, when I went to the freaking bathroom, I saw Al Snow coming out the bathroom. Like, dead ass, I saw him coming out the bathroom. Because I kind of looked for him and I was like, oh shit, that's Al Snow. Like, yeah, I will say one thing, man. That dude is just jacked to the fucking gills, man. Like, I knew he was jacked before, but that dude looks like more jacked to the gills, alright? Like, Al Snow is just freaking swole, alright? Like, super swole. So, I just kind of noticed that when I was going to the bathroom. I just kind of looked to the side, I'm like, huh, that's Al Snow. Fucking awesome. And, you know, what I saw, allegedly, I'm not being funny, but somebody fell off a balcony and they had to be taken to a hospital, if I'm not mistaken. I think they fell about 8 feet. I saw the guy being wheeled on a stretcher, and then I saw I guess cops were chasing after one person. But by the time I came back, you know, when the match was happening, number one, I see Joey Janela with a tennis racket, which was obviously a shot at Jim Cornette. So I'm sure he may respond to it, but I think Cornette doesn't honestly give a fuck what he's thinking. Jimmy Havoc was like stapling tacks or something to what was it, Janela's head, and then he did like a monkey flip with the chair, and the chair lands on its feet, and Janela just tried to act all cool with it then, so that happened. What else was in this crazy match? It was like a lot of hardcore spots. Because Darby Allin did like a big flip off the top rope onto Havoc onto a chair. Man, Shannon, holy shit. Janela pretty much took down Allin with a pretty much slammed to the apron to the chair. And then after that, Havoc came back then. He had some sheet paper with AEW logo, pretty much hitting Janela, and then he shoved the cuts of the tacks in his fingers and ripped them with a paper, like some paper, like to get a paper cut in, and kept using a staple gun on him. Because after he did that paper cut thing, Janela came back in, pretty much in a powerbomb on Allin through a table on the outside of the floor. Janela tried to go for a moonsault in from the top rope, but Havoc pretty much shoved him away. There was like a botch at one point where I guess one was trying to get the roll up on the other, or some type of move they was about to lift up with. Biscuits were involved. Jimmy Havoc had a tray of biscuits, folks. It's Cracker Barrel, so you got some biscuits out there, and threw them at Janela and Allin. Havoc hit. Then he got the Cracker Barrel, which the fans chanted, "We want barrels." Wow, Darby Allin. This dude comes back with a skateboard with some tacks on the bottom of it and rides off across Janela's back like he was freaking Bart Simpson or something. So, yeah, we got skateboards involved here, folks. So, there you go. And I guess the bottom of the skateboard was covered in taps, so it was like a double stomp to him, explained by the commentary team. Pretty much it was on the steps. Allin, pretty much like Havoc was like laying on the steps. Allin picks up the Cracker Barrel. It does a freaking trust fall. Havoc moves, and Allin just splatters all over the Cracker Barrel. Just explodes, okay? He's dead. He's pretty much done throughout the rest of this match, alright? He just, like, pretty much killed himself out there. You took that barrel and destroyed it into pieces while it was landing on some steel steps. Yeah, landed to some steel steps and stuff. So, that was probably one of the most brutal spots. I will say one thing. This match was insanity. And that spot right there just proved it after that Cracker Barrel thing there. But pretty much then, Janela pretty much still had, had tacks in him. He had a second Cracker Barrel then with Havoc. Pretty much the Cracker Barrel was in the ring. Havoc had suplexed Janela, missing the Cracker Barrel, by the way, only hitting his foot. And then he did his, the acid rainmaker on Janela to get the win. So, Jimmy Havoc won. I don't know what does this further or what does this continue. I will say all three of these guys tried to kill each other. I will give them that from the time I came back from the bathroom to see this match. So, there was a lot of crazy, insane spots on there. Like I said, especially the Cracker Barrel was probably the worst one because I thought Darby Allin probably nearly killed himself out there. But, the guy's tough, so yeah. Starting to lose it here. But Havoc picked up the win, so very crazy hardcore match. Next was the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, I guess with the Creepers or whatever, or Gimps or whatever they're supposed to be, went against the Best Friends. Once again, I don't think the crowd was all into this match. I think the fans do like Best Friends, but I don't think they really give a shit about the Dark Order that well, or their little minions and stuff. They did kind of like when the Best Friends did they hug. I heard they did that camera shot out when kind of like when Okada when he sets up for the Rainmaker. I think what else? Just the Dark Order. Like a freaking springboard corkscrew onto Taylor out there. One thing I noticed is that all those creepers got. And I swear this looks kind of bad, but it's like you saw those little guys that are with them pretty much tiptoe their way to the a spot so Chuck Taylor can, or not Chuck Taylor, he dodges them, but Stu Grayson can just pretty much jump on them. That's what it looked like. Like they just moved into position so they get jumped on. Okay. Excuse me. But what was it Grayson did though? He pretty much landed on all of them then. What at one point, like I said, I'm trying to remember as much of this match as I could. It's not really much to talk about, but the Dark Order did hit their fatality finisher on the Best Friends for the win. It wasn't a bad match, but once again, I just don't think fans were kind of in this match as you expected them to be. But other than the Dark Order getting the first round buy-in into this whole tag tournament stuff, however this is working right now, with them beating the Best Friends, next thing you know, the lights went off as they tried to carry Chuck Taylor away. And before anything happened, Orange Cassidy shows up the ring, who got a big pop, puts his hands in his pockets, jumps into the Creepers. By the way, that suicide dive looked clean, okay? That looked clean. Go look it up, especially with his hands in his pockets, and the guy just look, he just flies. He's just throwing himself. He just flies out of the ring, okay? He flies, and he gets back in with his hands in his pockets, kipping up. Chuck Taylor Ciampa pretty much hugged him right in the middle, and that's what ended that. So, the biggest thing to take from this was the Orange Cassidy, wow, it's throat thing here, but Orange Cassidy was super over as I mentioned. Anything I'm forgetting here? I don't think so, but wow, I really almost got what I was training my thought right there. But Orange Cassidy pretty much picks up the win, even with his not picks up the win, but his hands was in his pocket, so a good debut for him with the Chicago crowd. Second here. Sorry, I had to check something, but going on next. Where do we move on next? Because yes, after that tag team match and Orange Cassidy being over as usual, which like I say woke the crowd up, but like I said, Dark Order thing may not be working. And then once again, the crowd still kind of did during the Rio versus Hikaru Shida match. Wasn't bad. I thought it was worked up, but I don't think people really cared until kind of the end of it. I thought the finish was kind of cool. How Rio pretty much swung around, did a roll up on Shida for the win, but I don't know, man. Like I said, the crowd's mostly dead for this. They were either eating something, going to get some food, going to the bathroom in general. I did. It's not like I didn't hate it, but there was no build to this. They barely built it. I didn't even know this was a number one contender spot, to be honest, for TNT. So this was actually new to me later in the show when I was watching it. So I don't know what they're doing over there. Yeah, excuse me, but yeah, like I said, just wasn't bad. It just no build. There was no build to this anything, so it was hard for the fans to really care. They were just quiet the whole time. You know, Nyla Rose pretty much looked down and stared down on Rio, so I guess both of them are facing for the title now. But it's like the crowd couldn't have not cared. They really didn't, and I saw that myself. Next was Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears came out with like a chair and like a big hood over his head. Had some music playing. It sounded like that guy from Wrestling Flow, like he was rapping to it. And Tully Blanchard showed them on stage then. As he removed his hood, he had some blue contacts on, calling himself the Chairmaker. Brandy, MJF, DDP, Pharaoh, and Cody, I guess, Pharaoh, where they're all walking backstage somewhere. Next thing you know, Cody had this like big metal thing raised to the ground. There's pyro going off. Everything is green, which I'm obvious about. Thinking this is a shot at Triple H in general, because this guy wanted this war with AEW well, NXT to begin with. Like, come on, like the guy took so many shots that pretty much asked for this war in general. But as they put their rings, I'm tired here. But yeah, pretty much having a whole entire entourage. I did not get his entrance at first, Cody's entrance, until I figured out it was a Star Trek type of thing. When I saw the green thing, I already said the war part. I actually thought it was a shot at Triple H in general because it was green. But I guess the guy is almost like, what, he's going to Next Generation or something like that with Star Trek. I don't know where this Star Trek thing is going, okay? But it is interesting. I'll give him that. But moving on next, where are we? It's Shawn Spears in this match now. After what I just said from there, this was a good match. I did enjoy this from both of these guys. They were good. Cody pretty much as soon as the match began after his Star Trek entrance, I believe, pretty much in a suicide dive on Blanchard. Pretty much said this isn't over. Cody pretty much fought Shawn Spears to the crowd, where he stood on the camera angle or the up at the main stage or something to see everybody. Tully tried to grab Cody from my arm, it did not work. Spears speared him. Pretty much take Cody, pretty much hit him in the nuts then while the referee was looking. Earl Hebner was back, by the way. Spears pretty much was hanging upside down then as they were taking him out. MJF pretty much tried to somewhat help in a way. Spears pretty much kept taunting MJF at one point. Pretty much said he came, knocked out, gets back up right off the mat. Wow. See where this is going, but wow, I'm starting to lose some energy here. I'm trying to stay up as much as possible. I feel like I'm losing energy now. As I said before, like I said, yes, the Cody versus Spears match. Yeah, Earl Hebner getting involved. He was getting involved. I said Arn Anderson, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I'm kind of messing up a little. Like I said, I'm doing this now because I'm not really going to do this review tomorrow. That's why I'm going to get it done tonight where I still got the energy like I got right now. But other than, like I said, I talked about Cody's entrance with this whole Star Trek or whatever it's supposed to be. Like I said, the match was good and everything. They pretty much went in each other. Like I said, Cody got on top of the stage. It went at the stage, but, kind of on one of the parts of the stage onto the ramp to look at everyone. Excuse me. Pretty much as the match went on, Tully Blanchard had got involved in because Cody hit the crossroads he hit the crossroads on Spears. So I did like when I guess Spears took the belt off and was gonna hit him with it, but Earl Hebner wasn't having it. He had the belt, but he started whipping Cody with another belt then. But after that crossroads, Blanchard was on the ringside. Pretty much threw his jacket at MJF then. Pretty much both threw their jackets at each other. Looked like they were about to go. MJF had pretty much tried to... MJF and Tully Blanchard almost like they trying to go on at it with some punches here and there for a second. But Blanchard pretty much started going to MJF then onto the outside of the ring. Next thing you know, the Enforcer, Double A Arn Anderson, like I said, these probably had the biggest pop of the entire match. Hits him, it's a big spine buster, and people went nuts when Arn Anderson came out. Nuts when he was out there. So the people like went crazy for Arn Anderson as he hit a backstage then. Tully Blanchard pretty much looked surprised as he walked to the back. Spears had pretty much threw Cody to the apron and he got a chair in. Cody was able to get it from him. Spears told him to do it, but Cody threw the chair on the ground. They started throwing the chair back and forth with each other. Cody threw it back at Spears. Pretty much I thought it was going to be a Van Damme here, but he hit him with a disaster kick in after that. Hit the crossroads for the wins. I guess it was no DQ then or something. A good match, I will say that. I just think the biggest pop out of it was Arn Anderson, who just... the crowd went nuts for as soon as they saw him, like it was the freaking Four Horsemen out there again or something. But yeah, Arn Anderson was over, but it was good. I don't know if this ends the feud now between Cody and Spears since he got the win. I didn't think it was going to end off that quickly, but Cody did get the win in, and as he celebrated, MJF looked like he was going to hit him with the chair, and a lot of people in the crowd thought he was going to turn on him, but we're not to that point yet, and we're still going to push this on, because, MJF had that chair, and he had Cody's belt and everything, as Cody was celebrating, but he did not turn on him yet. Well, after that, the ladder match then, the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks. Listen, what do I have to say about this? Or the Escucha de la Muerte match for the AAA tag titles. Holy shit. First off, the ladders were black and gold, number one. There was one point where they did, there was like a confetti gun going off there in the Young Bucks, and I guess they had some money from it then. The Lucha Brothers did their Sierra Medio thing, as the Young Bucks did their Sierra Huevos thing out there. Listen, this was a freaking spot fest. This was a super spot fest, okay? These guys damn near really killed each other. Fans started chanting ECW. Phoenix doing the big crazy springboard hurricane right on Nick to the, ladder on the outside. One was everybody's on the outside. Phoenix almost like Jeff Hardy's. It jumps pretty much off the ropes and over the ladder onto everybody. Almost did like a flip, like a dive through it, which was crazy. Nick doing a freaking springboard then on pretty much then off the ladder on Phoenix. Phoenix had tipped Nick over while he was on the ladder, but Nick did like a freaking corkscrew on it that looked crazy when the ladder happened. Phoenix and Matt were still in there then next, but Phoenix did like a freaking springboard on the Nick to the outside, which was great. Like I said, these guys were just jumping all over the place. I can't even tell you what other spot they did next. Pentagon hitting a big sling blade on Matt off the ladder, which was freaking crazy. He even jumped on one side of the ladder to take him down with a big clothesline. Pretty much they threw the ladder to Pentagon and Phoenix at one point. Phoenix, and this was the most insane spot. If it's one spot I do remember very, very well is in this was when Phoenix had, I think it was either Nick at the top rope and Pentagon kind of came in for it to help him. Phoenix is a freaking, Canadian Destroyer off the top rope, not top rope, off the ladder onto a table outside. By the way, there are many tables that look like they were just getting broken out of nowhere that I couldn't even keep up where they were coming from. But that Canadian Destroyer, I thought they were done after that when they were being checked on. Then fans chanting "Fight Forever." Like I said, after that Canadian Destroyer, not Phoenix, but Pentagon did. It was just it was crazy. Okay, after that spot. Matt and Pentagon and pretty much had some chairs there. Then after that, I figured out top some tables. Nick Jackson, Phoenix pretty much did springboards off the cross the ladder from each other to land on either Pentagon and Matt through some tables then, on their respective opponents. Phoenix had a ladder then. There was one over the barricade, and Nick hit a DDT on him then as that ladder was sat there. Pretty much there was another table then. Phoenix pretty much knocked Nick into that tables, which he only had one table, so the other one did not break. But Nick tried to get in, powerbomb Phoenix on the tables, but it did not work. Ran to a super kick then after that. Matt tried to go for the belts. Pentagon pretty much had stopped him then at one point. At one point, Pentagon was stuck in a sharpshooter and a crossface down on the ladder, which looked pretty painful. Phoenix came back in with a super kick, taking both of them out. Pretty much, their ladders were being set up then. It was onto the outside. Pentagon, what did he do? I don't know if it was on one of the Jacksons, but pretty much there was some tables out there. I think Nick had landed on one of the tables. Like somebody got cut at one point. They were still in the ring. Pentagon tried to go for the titles. Matt Jackson had pulled Pentagon's mask off, which Matt super kicked in Phoenix then after he pulled Pentagon's mask off. As Pentagon kept covering his face, he ended up pushing Matt off the ladder then. Pentagon eventually got his mask back on. I think one of the referees put it on then. And then pretty much I was on that ladder that was like, built like a bridge by ringside. Pretty much they did a double stomp package pile driver on Matt Jackson that looked very painful onto the top of the ladder then. But the Lucha Brothers then pretty much went up the ladder and finally won the I think they retained the AAA tag belts. This was a spot fest, okay? This was a super spot fest. These guys nearly killed each other out there. What I would say is the best match tonight, if you want to go on and say that. It was the most, probably next to that triple threat that Cracker Barrel thing. This was probably the most insane match you were going to see on here. Okay, very insane. Next thing you know, two guys in masks came out, presidential masks. They start beating up the Lucha Brothers, and they hit that blockbuster powerbomb on one of the Young Bucks then, which I knew who it was, to be honest, because that street sweeper. Who is it? It was Santana and Ortiz, LAX, which I heard the commentary team did not mention LAX, but people in the crowd knew it was Santana and Ortiz. I knew it was kind of right off the bat. So LAX is in AEW, but I don't know if they're really going to be called LAX after that at this point. So I don't know if the commentary team did call him that, but everybody in the crowd knew who most everybody knew who Santana and Ortiz was. I don't know if they were familiar with LAX with that, unless you watched Impact, but yes, LAX are now in AEW. This was a very great move. I will say that. They made the right choice coming to AEW and that NXT. But I will tell you one thing, man. AEW's got one hell of a tag division right now. And they got some very strong opponents. Very strong teams. And LAX, you can add them to that list. From LAX to Pentagon and Phoenix to the Young Bucks to Private Party to the Best Friends to the Dark Order to Angelico and Jack Evans to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to SCU. That's a stacked tag division right there, people. A very stacked up tag division, and probably more counting if I'm lucky to even name more than that. But that is a very big tag division you got there, people. Okay, so you gotta watch out for that. That is going to be that's going to be crazy when they get on a TV on TNT though. But like I said, the tag division looks super strong right now, so there is no stopping that. But yeah, LAX being involved. I kind of expected them to be here sooner or later. I didn't think they would be here tonight, but hey, it was fun to see Santana and Ortiz live out there tonight to be in it. Pentagon and things, Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, pretty much just killed each other out there, and how none of these people walk away hurt, but yeah, these guys were killing each other out there, I will say that. Main event time, though, as we get into Hangman Page, who had some real cowboy shit going on. You better take his horse back down to the Old Town Road, because the man had a real horse coming out there to the ring. The cowboy shit, as everyone chanted. Next thing you know, Chris Jericho came out. Then, of course, his Judas thing. I thought this was a good match. This was far from being the greatest match of the night, but this was the main event. A lot of pandering by Jericho. Which, Jericho does that before. But I will say fans cheered more Jericho than they did boo him. There was a lot of Y2J, let's go Hangman chats, but mostly more Y2J. Jericho tried to do his best to get himself booed, but it looked like it did not work. Page did a suicide dive on Jericho, and even a shooting star press from the apron. It looked like Jericho tried to hit him with a code breaker in mid-air. It didn't look connected all the way, but it looked like he was trying to hit it on Hangman's face because he started holding his eye in. Page pretty much got back in the ring because the referee was counting to 10. Jericho pretty much cut him off then, pretty much throw him around the ring. He took the ring bell in and tossed it and hit him with a microphone, which was pretty crazy. Very loud shot. Jericho pretty much put Page back in, started beating the crap out of him. Page was starting to recover then. Pretty much taking Jericho down with a drop kick. Jericho they cross-bodied in from the top rope. Pretty much Page rolled up, and he was able to pick up Jericho then with a falls away slam. Jericho came back then and put him in the walls of Jericho then after that. And so the referee's checking on him. At one point, Page did like a big forearm on Jericho, which blood started coming from his head then, and he started walking around the ring. It's like more and more blood was coming, which I'm gonna say who's the face and who's the heel, because I was like Jericho was he's the heel, but it's like trying to get sympathy because of the blood on his eye and everything. That was just the crimson mass was just spreading all over the place. Page started going after Jericho, pretty much targeting that eye then. I guess it was payback after he made him bleed at the Fight for the Fallen show. Pretty much Page and went him in the corner, taking down Jericho. Pretty much focusing on that eye. Hit a big neck breaker from the top rope for a near fall. And then hit Jericho with another discus elbow. Jericho came back for a second, but Page with a super kick. With a buckshot lariat then. But Jericho came back in, put in the walls after that. Page got to the ropes. Jericho didn't release it, and he started arguing with the referee then at one point as he told the referee to get out of his face. Jericho went over to charge the Page, but Page pulled the ropes down. Pretty much going over it. He did a moonsault from the top rope. Jericho was still down. Pretty much, it was on the entrance ramp then. Page came back. Still had Jericho in the ring. Got him with another buckshot lariat, but Jericho hit him with a code breaker then. Another near fall. Jericho pretty much went for that roaring elbow. Page had hit a staying shooting star pressed in it, but Jericho put his knees up. Went for the code breaker, but Page had pretty much dodged it. Hit him with the rite of passage, which is called the Deadeye now. Well, Deadeye sounds a little bit better than rite of passage, though. But I always called it that, so they were doing that in Ring of Honor. But Jericho was able to kick out again. Page had hit another buckshot lariat. Was going to go for the Deadeye one more time, but Jericho dodged it. He tried to do one more buckshot lariat, but lariat and everything, but Jericho pretty much dodged it and hit it with his Judas elbow, which I still think is just a basic elbow, but they want to get that over like it's a very deadly move of him doing that back elbow thing now, which Jericho was able to win the match and become the first ever AEW World Champion. So this was a good match. Jericho was super over, of course. I knew Jericho was winning this match. I'm sure a lot of people in that arena knew he was going to win that match regardless, because they're going to need a guy who is a big star moving into TV, especially when they move on, Wednesday nights in October and stuff. And Jericho's the biggest star in your company right now, okay? Especially the longevity guy he's had. So I'm not surprised he's the first world champion. Page will get there one day. I know he will, but Jericho was the right choice, okay? I really never thought Jericho was losing the match. I really didn't. I kind of figured he'd win because they need him for TV and they know he's over right now. So that's probably the plan, and they want to go in looking strong, and people know Jericho's a draw, and people are going to watch Chris Jericho. So that's why. But Jericho celebrated right after with the title, pretty much going to the back end with it. So that was the way to close the show. I did stay there a little bit after. I will tell you what happened after the show with Cody Rhodes coming out thanking everybody for showing up to AEW. Of course, they will be back in my town, Chicago, back at the Sears Center. I wish they go to the United Center one day, hopefully soon, if they want to go to a big arena. But they will be back for TV back in November on Thanksgiving Eve, okay? I'm not really going to go to that show because A, it's probably going to be way too cold. B, it's going to be tougher. I'm not really going to stay for TV. See, this is because it was like, pay-per-view and I was there for more hours. But I'm not probably going to stay for 2 hours and just head back home in the cold and stuff in November, but we'll see what comes from that. But overall, I enjoyed the show. I think it was fun. The best thing I thought was Omega versus Pac, and that's why I feel like the show kind of fell off a little because I said, well, I felt like it peaked a little at Omega and Pac, and then like you put on the Cracker Barrel match, which it did kind of win the crowd back through the hardcore spots, but they kind of really fell off during that Dark Order and Best Friends match, and then the Rio and Shirata match, which like the crowd was almost kind of like sitting in their hands at one point in time, just kind of sitting there. But between, like I said, Pac and Omega was probably the greatest match. I've said it too many times now. The ladder match between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks was just insane spot fest. I thought Jericho and Hangman was good too. Cody and Spears had a good story out there. I thought the match was, good itself. Wasn't that great, but it was good. And the big thing with Arn Anderson coming out was a humongous pop, so I will say that. Humongous pop, so I will say that. The Casino Battle Royale still needs some work on. I did enjoy the private party thing. I did enjoy LAX coming out there also. So there are some things to enjoy and some things still not to enjoy and questionable and stuff. But, overall, I had a fun night. I had a lot of fun out there. I'm tired as hell at this point. Whenever the fuck this video gets uploaded, it will get uploaded. So hopefully sometime tomorrow, because I am about to go to sleep in the next few minutes. It was hard getting home because when you leave that arena, I'm not paying no $100 for Uber just to get back to the damn train station. That shit ain't happening, folks. So I stood around there. I went to the main event because my brother eventually showed up to this show also. He was 2 hours late. I'm not going to get that whole story, but somehow he made it back and split the money and then trained in another Uber, and I did not get back to almost 3-4, and that's why I've been doing this review for almost over an hour. I almost probably dozed off at one point, so I went from like 3 almost to 4 something right now, so I am tired as shit, okay? I really am, but I did want to do this review with the amount of energy I got left and focus and stuff. Probably needed more coffee. I had a double shot of Starbucks before this show even began. Feel like I need a triple shot right now just to keep me going, but overall, like I said, I had fun, and there's one thing you can say the difference between All In and All Out is this. I think more with the production they have, and I must have didn't mention this after Cody, thanked fans after the show, that we all must be thanking Tony Khan, because he is the money man at the end of the day. He is the billionaire, folks, okay? So this man's the one signing all the checks, all right? This is the money man between him and his father, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this is the reason why this is going and why they get so much money for this great stuff. Because one difference between All In and All Out, as someone said to me today, was this. All In was like the precursor to AEW just the precursor to AEW in general and All Out, okay? All In was a big, almost like variety show of some say the biggest indie show because you had several other companies of several wrestlers from several companies just doing matches. Now AEW is a legit company itself, having its own roster, building its own storylines. Yeah, there's still some things that need to be fixed right now, which I'm sure there's a lot of criticisms on stuff for the past few shows, and hopefully they'll have that fixed when they come to TV. But it's just, with the money and stuff they have now, it's a difference now, okay? It really is a difference from when you see All In and when you see All Out to where this is going, because they have their own company now and they're doing their own stuff with world titles and everything. All In was just a big indie show that had everybody on there to why it's sold out. And when you add StarCast too, listen, people travel the world to come this thing, okay? People come from, I've seen people come from Dallas or Japan or Germany or Canada or Mexico or whatever country or state you're from. A lot of people came out to see this show tonight. There's a reason why they sold out. But overall, I enjoyed it. I really did. Like I said, I'm really tired from all the cheering and the traveling. Just getting into the arena is one thing. Getting back, that's the hard part, okay? It really is. That is the tough part of getting to the Sears Center back to the South Side of Chicago, okay? So it's a tough road there, folks. It really is. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed All Out. I know Tony Khan says he wants to make this a thing all year, every year with StarCast. Hey, man, I know you do it to Sears Centers. I know they got a plaque over there, but maybe one day you guys will come to the United Center. I don't know when that will be. We'll see. But like I said, I overall had a fun night. Hopefully I did not doze off too much during this video. I know I felt like I did. So if I forgot something, please say something about it. I will probably go back to check out highlights of the show just to hear what the commentary sound like and what it looked like on TV. Because I know it's a difference between being there live and then being there on TV. But I feel like the crowd came off very well. Hopefully it did on TV, especially with some of the funny chants they did, like 205 at Pac and everything and stuff. So I'll give it that. But like I said, from this wrestling show today, there was other wrestling shows going on throughout this entire day, okay? Because this was the second one, and this was the one I went to, All Out. Earlier today, I did watch the NJPW Royal Quest show. I made it all the way to the end, pretty much in the Okada and Suzuki match. I did not finish that, so I will go watch the rest of that match tomorrow, and I will possibly do a review for that, and I will try to check out the NXT UK TakeOver show also tomorrow sometime later in the day, and maybe I'll do a review for that. But I will probably do an NJPW review because I was able to see that show early. It was like 11:30 this morning all the way up to 3 o'clock, almost when I was about to get on the train later today, today and stuff, to get in there. So yeah, I will try to come with a review for that, but I did want to get this all out, so hopefully sometime by in the morning or later in the morning or today or whatever the time it is right now, it will be uploaded at some point in time. So other than that, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about All Out. What was your favorite match on there? What did you enjoy about the show? What do you think about some of the debuts that were on here tonight? And do they have more of a stronger following now coming into TV on October the 2nd when they hit TNT? Because the war is coming, folks. Like I said, the Wednesday Night War. I know some people may not think it is, but hey, NXT versus AEW is coming, or WWE versus AEW, whatever you want to call it, folks. It's just coming every Wednesday night. But overall, hey, I was all in, I was all out. So like I said, I had a hell of a time. I really did, and it was enjoyable as shit. And I saw some really great matches on there tonight. So once again, it's me, the HWD, coming with the news and reviews. I am, know what I do, keeping it clue. I don't know, it's like cooking beef stew, all in, all out. A teapot that's short and it's stout. So hey, I'm done with this review of AEW All Out. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll go play some Team Fortress 2 and get a scout. But other than that, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Comment, subscribe, anything, whatever you want to go. Like I said, you already know what I have to say about this, so I don't need to repeat myself anymore from here. But I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys later. Probably we'll be back with some reviews tomorrow. It's been a very busy weekend, folks. A very busy weekend. I probably would be more tired if I went to StarCast also, but get All Out, I think, is good enough for me. So I said, man, I got a lot of wrestling shows coming to Chicago, so let me stop. But I'm out here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.